Good morning, you guys. All right, so one of our last lessons for this school year, we're just going to go over a little bit with area and perimeter for this specific lesson. We're going to have to break up the shapes a little bit, but it's going to be really good practice for you guys. So we've done this a few times throughout the school year. I just wanted to do about 3 of the problems with you, because I know it is like the last week of academic learning, so I just kind of wanted to help you guys out a little bit. So I'm going to walk through 3 of them with you. We're going to do numbers 1, 2, and 4 together, and then I'm going to let you do the other 3 on your own. This is a great time for you to just follow along, do what I do, and it'll make it a lot easier. Alrighty? Okay, so I'm going to get my annotation all ready to go here. And we're going to start with number 1. It's right over here. So I'm going to be red already. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to notice that this shape is kind of wonky. It's nice that when you break it up, it's going to be into 2 different types of rectangles. But it's just, right now, it's a pain and a half. So I personally like to start with area because I like to just get the hard part over with, basically. It's totally up to you. What you need to notice, though, is that you don't have the measurements of every single side. So that's why I like to start with areas, because it helps me figure all those out. And it kind of is like a 2-for-1 deal. Like, I already have to do it for area, so I might as well just like do it that way instead of trying to add extra steps into it. So the first thing I like to do is I like to just cut off, make that line so that I have 2 different shapes, right? And the reason for that is so that we can find the area of each of those shapes and then add it together to get the whole total. Because right now we don't really have a formula to find the area of this shape. It's about being able to recognize that there's multiple shapes within this. Now, please note that there are more than one ways to cut these shapes into 2. These are the ways that I see it. You might see it differently. Totally fine if you want to do it and cut it on a different part. This is just where I wanted to do it. So that's what we're doing already. Get this all set up. Okay, so the first one, oops, shouldn't have done that. Okay, there we go. It's been a while since I've made one of these videos. All right, so I'm gonna cut my line right here. Now that is not straight, nor is it perfect, not surprising that. So what you're gonna see here is I have 2 shapes now. I have this rectangle up here, and then I have this one down here, right? So we're gonna use these different, all the numbers to help us out, okay? All the different side lengths. So what's really nice is that the 18 down here is just going to stay the same. So that tells us a couple of things. That this side right here is 18 units across. And because this whole side is directly across from that, that's also a total of 18. So when you're looking at this rectangle here, you're going to get 18 you're going to get 18 on either side, okay? So you're going to do, so you're going to leave that, right? Now the big thing is trying to figure out, what do these 2 sides equate to? What do they equal? And the reason being is because the 24 here is this whole side, but remember, we cut it off here. So we have to think to ourselves, how are we going to do that? How are we going to find what just this part right here is? Well, you can look over here to this 7 and think, okay, so if 18 here and here works, then 7 must be here and directly across. So I'm going to write a little 7 here to remind myself that this also equals 7. So if the whole side is 24, we only have to take 7 away to find this remaining part. And 24 minus 7 is 17. And just like with the 18, how we're like, okay, this side's 18, so the one directly across from it is 18. This side's 17, the one directly across from it must be 17. All right. Now we have one last tricky part. So we kind of created a measurement here. We have to figure out what these sides are right here and right here. We already found out these two sides because they're 7, and we had to figure those out to help us with the bottom part. Again, the whole 2, 4, 1 thing, it's kind of just done. It's like, ooh, cool, awesome. Okay, so we find that this little part here is 9, but again, the whole part is 18. Right, we already figured that out. So this little part right here would be 18 minus 9, which leaves us how much left over? 9, because 18 minus 9 is 9. So we can put a little 9 here, and I like to put one here to remind me. So now what we can do is we can find the area of those two shapes, just doing length times width again, right? So the first one up here, 9 times 7, it's going to be 63. So the area in here is going to be 63, okay? And then we're going to have 17 times 18 in this bottom part here, right? So that should give us 306. Now, it's okay if you want to use a calculator like I just did for these larger numbers. You should be able to do 9 times 7 in your head. But 17 times 18, it's okay. Guys, it's last week. It's fine if you want to use a calculator at that point. Also a life skill to be able to know how to plunge things into a calculator and make sure that they make sense. So I'm really okay with that. And then from there, to find our area, we need to add those two numbers together. So 306 plus 63 gives us 369. And that's our area instead of our perimeter down here. Okay, so we have our area completely done at this point, which is awesome. So that's all. We don't have to worry about the area on that problem again. Okay, I am going to erase a couple of things just to help us be able to see where we're at here, okay? Because I think it makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to tell you what I'm erasing. So the first thing I'm going to erase is just like these numbers, the area numbers, and that's because we don't really need them anymore, okay? The next thing I'm going to erase is this line and this 9, because again, we're looking at the perimeter, which is the outside, the surrounding part. We don't need to see that again, okay? And the last thing I'm going to remove are only this 7 and 17. The reason being, we found this 17 here and this 9 here. Those need to stay for the perimeter. However, because we know that this whole side is 24, we don't even have to look at this business again, right? So from there, we need to add all of these sides up. So that means adding 24, then 18, 17, 9, 9, and 7 all together. And that, when you add all of that up, you should get 84 for your answer, right? So I'm not going to go through all that math. Again, it's okay if you want to use a calculator for that part. I totally get it. It's a lot, I know. So just keep that in mind, okay? Again, you have the answer sheet to double check your answers. So there you go. That is how you do the area and perimeter of this. I know there's a lot of steps. There's a lot of critical thinking here. And I promise that, like, it's okay. You're going to get it. I know you are. Remember, we really only have like 2 math lessons this week. It's this one and then one more tomorrow. The last thing is just math facts. So just power on through this. I know you guys have it, okay? All right, we are going to go ahead and do number 2 together, which is actually down here beneath it randomly. I don't know why. Usually I would think it would go horizontally, but this one's going vertically. So again, we're going to do number 2 and number 4 next, okay? So First step, if you remember, where am I going to break it up? I like to break it up pretty much in the same way as I did the other one. Just kind of making a line there to cut off that little top part in the L. So that's where we're going to put our line. So we're gonna go right into here. We're gonna draw a line across. All right. So starting with this bigger half, okay, we know that 22 is this length right here. So it's going to be directly across is also going to be that length. When we're trying to find this width here, okay, we know the whole line there is 16, but we're only looking for this little part. So we look to this guy for help and we're like, okay, well, this little side's 7, so this little side's got to be 7. So this portion of the whole side should be 7 less than 16. And I'm going to double check because you guys know that I am terrible with math on the fly. That's just, I freak out with subtraction. You guys know that. Really an awesome quality as a teacher. So please someone laugh at my jokes. It's killing me. So you guys know that it should have 9 is left over. So 9 on this side, and then that means this side is 9 as well. So we can now move up to this box because we know we have 9 on the width and 22 on the length. Easy peasy. So up here we have to find what this little portion or this portion up here is. So we know that this part is 11, and we know the whole thing has to be 22. So that means this portion is 11 less than 22. So 22 minus 11, which is just 11 that I can do in my hand. Tell you guys, I feel you on the math facts, like the 9s and 7s are so much harder. Okay, so we're gonna write an 11 here, and I'm gonna put a little 11 here just to remind me. So now we can absolutely go ahead and do our area. So we're gonna do this top portion first. 7 times 11 is 77. And then 22 times 9 is 198. Again, okay, if you use a calculator on that part. Then we're gonna add these two together. So you get 198 plus 77. And your area should be 200. Area equals 275, right? So that's how we found our area again. Again, I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna erase certain parts we don't need. Now, when you're doing your work on your paper, it's okay to just X things out. You don't have to erase it, just because it really depends on how you wanna see your paper. I'm trying to make this as clean and clear as possible for you guys, because I know that it is really difficult to see. It's not easy. So I just want to make sure that I'm making it as easy as possible on you guys, just because you're newer at this. But if you need to see, if you want to just cross things out instead of erase it, that's fine too. So I'm going to, again, erase the area numbers because we don't need that business. And we don't need this line and the 11 there anymore particularly. And the last thing we don't need is this 9 and 7. Because we know that whole side is 16. So you're, oops, that took away the 1 for the 11. That would be confusing. That would give us the wrong answer completely. All right, so to find the perimeter, let's set it up here. Now you know you have to add 22 plus 16, 11, 11, 9, and 7 together. And that should give you 76, according to the answer key. That's where I'm getting this from, so don't quote me. All right, so that's some really good practice. We're gonna do one more together, because again, I know it's the last week and our brain power is nearing its end. I 100% agree with that. This has all been less than ideal as well on top of it all. So we're gonna move over here to number 4, okay? First thing, we're gonna figure out where we're gonna cut it off. So we're gonna cut it off about right here, like so. That is the worst, most non-straight line I think I've drawn this entire time. Apologies. All right, so we know this side here is 15, directly across must be 15 as well. Whole side here is 17, but we only need this portion right now. We need to break it up into these two. Doesn't mean you need to divide it by 2. It means you need to look over here. If this part is 9, that means this part is 9 less than 17, which is 8. So that means this side over here must be 8 as well. To find this portion and this portion, we know the whole thing is 15. So this part must be 7 less than 15, which again is 8. Why do I feel like I'm second guessing myself? Even though I know my math facts. Okay, I'm right. Does that ever happen to you guys? I feel like it does. Probably all the time. Okay. 9 times 8 is 72. We come down here, 15 times 8 gives us 120. Yes, I did use a calculator. All right, then we're going to add those together. 120 plus 72 gives us an area of 192. Now, moving on to that perimeter, I'm going to erase the things I don't need because I don't need to look at them right now. Get rid of this area. I know I'm going much faster on this one. That's just because it's don't need it as much. Get rid of this area. Get rid of this portion and these guys over here. And we know we got to add it all back together. So we're going to end up adding 17, 15, 8, 8, 9, and 7 together. I usually like to go in numerical order. I didn't see that 9 there. And our perimeter, we should get 64. All right, so that is how we find the area of those kind of wonky shapes there. If you have any questions, you guys can feel free to ask them. You should totally be able to do the last 3 on your own. You have the answer key. Remember, work backwards or whatever way works for you. That's just kind of, this is how I would go about it. If you have a different way, totally normal. If your parents teach you a different way, totally fine. At the end of the day, if you get the right answer and you understand how you got to that, that's what matters. Whichever strategy works the best for you, that's what we want for you, okay? So just keep that in mind, right? So tomorrow I'll post a short video kind of going over that order of operations portion. But for now, this is it. And look out for emails later this week. We're gonna talk through with you guys how we're gonna do our Oreo exchange. And then we'll have a couple of activities for you guys to do next week. And then it's summer break, which we can stay inside for, but technically there's no work, so that's exciting. All right, have a great day, you guys, and I will see you soon.